Hey, this is Anthony with RevZilla TV, where you can watch, decide, and ride. Welcome to our detailed breakdown of the new Alpinestars Tech 10 off-road boot, available at RevZilla.com. So we know the Tech 10. The Tech 10 is a legacy product. Just like we saw them redesign the Tech 7 this year, now we have a redesign of the Tech 10. The theme moving forward, as I've said, low profile, lighter weight, but big steps forward in protection and functionality. Remember, the Tech 10 is the apex predator, top of the food chain. You're close to $600. This is the bad boy that Villapoto, Trey Canard, and anybody else who's anybody wearing A-Stars boots in the Supercross and the motocross world are wearing. And they choose this boot because it's the top level of protection. It's a one-piece design, and again, it's going to have that fully removable inner bootie. And this is the new style inner bootie that they've done for 2014. And you're going to see they've changed the way the multi-link blade system works. Again, it's a little bit lower profile inside, and it's going to provide a bit more protection than the last time around. But what you see here is I have my red, white, and blue one on the right here, and again, it comes in a handful of colors. And on my left, I have last year's model of Tech 10, which is still a really beefy pro-level boot. But you can see some of the big changes that I'm going to get to a little bit later in detail. Jump right out. You're going to see it's a brand new buckle system. You can see the shin protection is different, and then moving toward the interior, you're going to see the medial side is completely different on this boot. But one of the big stories is now you have a shin blade, this TPU shin blade on the front, just like on the back, that gives you great control, support, and flexibility, guarding against hyperextension and hyperflexion. So let's talk a little bit about sizing, and then let's dive into this boot start to finish. American sizes, no surprises here. Remember, it is an inner bootie that's very easily removable. Some guys like to put their foot in and put their foot in, and then put their foot in, and some guys leave it in and go that way with it. Remember, when you're choosing this boot, you know there's that inner bootie design, you know there's adjustability there. Again, it's built with the MX or off-road rider in mind, and you look at this compared to the rest of the line from Alpinestars, the Tech 8 Lite's going to have that half bootie, and something like the Tech 7's really low. It's a bit more low profile. There's no bootie there. Again, we're going to ship for free. If you're not sure about the sizing, no restock fees. You always give us a shout if you need help. What I would like you to do, though, is ask me questions, leave me your comments, subscribe to us at RevZilla TV on our YouTube channel, and as I walk through this, I'd love to hear your feedback as we go. So as we start with my full grain leather chassis here on the Patriot colorway here on my Tech 10, again, we're talking top of the food chain. There's a lot going on. Let's start with some of these key changes for this year. The first one, and as you heard me talk about it, is this tongue and groove system, this TPU shin blade system that allows you more flexibility while also guarding against that hyperextension, hyperflexion that lives on the front. You notice it ties in with the new buckle system, and I love that A-Stars is smart. They take these buckles off the side of the boot and they put them on front, so they're not going to hit or catch or snag if you have a get-off. So you have these new style buckles, aluminum buckles now, lighter weight, much more usable. So now they're set it and forget it buckles, and I say that a lot, but what that means is you put this poison dart frog area here, this blade, through the center, you lock it down, and what it does is it sits kind of in this wedge here. So they're self-aligning, there's room for adjustability, and if they get caked with dirt, they're also easy to operate. Bravo, Alpinestars, you've improved upon a design that already worked really well, and you can see that here. You can see that here in last year's model. Get an idea of what last year's version looked like. Again, it's weight saving as well. Now, moving past that, you're going to see some of the features we know and love with Alpinestars, but even if I come into the top here, notice how this is free floating now with a bigger area of Velcro. Again, it's about flexibility here in the Tech 10 that's going to encompass a very active riding style and in a very aggressive way. Looking at the top, another key change. Last year's model, we had this big gaiter, this big plastic piece at the top of the boot. You can see it moves all the way around the top here. On this year's model, it's soft. It's going to work with your leg. It has a nice notched cutout here in the back that's going to work with your calf. It'll be friendly with an Alpinestars knee brace. A lot of guys wear knee braces. Again, that's a creature comfort, and that's a nice touch. That's them listening to their pro level and amateur level riding core. Moving to the back, you're going to see, again, lots of support in that blade system that goes all the way down to the shin, getting into our molded outer here towards the bottom of the boot, which I'm going to get to in a second. Not a ton of changes this year. Moving to the inside. Now you can look, again, low profile in nature. Suede heat shield moving into this grip panel around the medial side of the boot. This interfaces with your bike. But notice, it's not raised. It's not going to catch. It's not getting in the way of anything. They're moving away from these hard edges. You're looking at smooth. Smooth is graceful. Smooth keeps you connected to your bike in a consistent way, and smooth helps you if you happen to get in a get-off situation. So let's talk about the toe box here. And again, you're seeing the same style sole that we saw last year, and that's okay because they had nailed it in the previous iteration. Now, like I said, it's not as low profile as something like the Tech 10, but what you have is a sole that's one piece, fully encompassing, passes the 250-pound drop test right on the toe box. Again, beefy, 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 but what you have is 5 different densities of material in your outer shell TPU that's molded. So what that means is they beef it up when they need it, and they slim it down when they don't, and it's flexible where it needs to be. So you're getting a mix of protection, flexibility, as well as lightweightedness. I should really say weight savings instead of making up my own words, in this sole that's completely molded then to your dual durometer sole of the boot. So you have this outer shell TPU ties in with our buckle system, 5 densities, lightweight, fully protective, and now our sole is the same as last year. The black area is completely resolable. That's your wear area, and then you have your different durometer, steel reinforced shanked boot that's going to connect then to this single piece injection molded 5 density outer shell. So the other key thing about the way that this sole is bonded to the boot is there's actually, on the footbed on this molded piece, there's actually an area that becomes very thin and has some cutouts to it. And that allows it to give you more feel and tactile response, more feedback from the motorcycle from your outer sole to really the inner sole of the boot. Again, forward thinking from Alpinestars in their super premium area of the line. Now you look at some of the other creature comforts here, you're going to have full grain leather, like I said, it's bonded, it goes all the way up, it's billowed, it's going to move with you. I'm going to undo my buckles here and pull them apart. Very quick, very easy. Open it up and expose my camber liner. That's going to allow sweat to be wicked away, evaporate out through the boot. And again, it's full grain leather. You get to maximize that potential. And then what you're going to see here too, and I forgot to pull out my sole here. I'm going to get to that in 1 second. They've upgraded it for this year, is my gaiter that's going to keep dirt and moisture out, even though it's not a waterproof boot, but it's meant to give you some protection, especially in longer rides. Now let's talk about the footbed. Footbed's been upgraded for 2014. The footbed now looks the same from the top, but it has multiple densities and shock absorbing properties, especially as you move back into the heel. And you can see that area here right along the heel cap, and you're going to see that in the Tech 7 as well. So again, Alpinestars finding more ways to add more value, more protective, and more function into a boot that's seriously riders, pro riders, the top of the food chain of what's out there is using it and relying on it to protect them and keep them fast at the top of the food chain within their sport. So as you can see, Alpinestars made a nice handful of changes that really stand on the shoulders of what they know of the technology and where it's headed for 2014. Even with the updates to the inner booty, again, they're listening. We're always impressed by companies that listen to the marketplace. But the next step in your journey is to not just listen to me. I know a lot about this boot, probably more than you did coming into this, but what you want to do is click right here and read other rider reviews and feedback at RevZilla.com. Now, at the end of the day, when you have Ryan Villapoto riding around and winning in this boot, honestly, and that guy could wear probably anything that he wants. It says a lot. It helps you understand the positioning of something that's an apex predator like this. But read other rider reviews on our site and click right here to do it. You can also remember that we ship for free, no restock fees, as always. Give our Gear Geeks a shout. See us at RevZilla.com or 877-792-9455. We're here to help you. You should lean on us when you need us. Thanks for watching our detailed breakdown of the Alpinestars 2014 Tech 10 off-road boot. I'm Anthony. We'll see you next time.